Thank you everyone for joining my meeting today. Well, today I'm going to talk about quite an interesting subject called develop or form a relationship with the Gohonzon. Interesting, right? So we all know that we have a higher self and a lower self within us. Some of us may have met someone who always makes us angry or annoyed. And we would say, I have come across this person altogether. And I'd say, you always bring out the worst in me. But there are nice people who make us happy and make us feel good and support us. And when we are with them, we are always uplifted. And then we would say, you bring out the best in me. So there you are. The higher self. What is the higher self? It's the Gohonzon. The Gohonzon represents our higher self, which is called Buddhahood. And it would be most beneficial to us if we can form a relationship with the Gohonzon. Regarding the Gohonzon as your best powerful friend, who is always there, ready to support and help. When you connect with the Gohonzon from heart instead of brain, you will experience greater effect. Just know that all the problems in life are actually our own doings, and only us can change them through us. We are the cause of all our problems. Regard the Gohonzon like your best friend or a lover. You know that this lover or this friend will give you whatever your heart desires, as long as you behave the right way. We trust them. And if we behave properly, they will respond to us lovingly. Be loving to the Gohonzon. Once you are doing that, your heart feels lighter and things will move accordingly. Trust the Gohonzon. If anything goes wrong, you go to the Gohonzon and let go of all your problems in front of the Gohonzon, because you know that the Gohonzon will help you find the answer or the solution. Using this approach has helped many people, and never slander other people, no matter how terrible they are, because they do have the Gohonzon within themselves. The practice is not something formal. We must put our whole life into praying to the Gohonzon. We must engrave the Gohonzon in our lives. Actually, the Gohonzon is within us. The Gohonzon is our life. We just have to bring it forth. When we recite Daimoku with true determination, as if we were offering our very lives, it is impossible not to overcome whatever illness we have. Well, there's a saying that our body is a wonderful machine. If you trust your body, the body will respond and will get well by itself. Well, I'm not saying that you don't need a doctor, but most of the time the doctor only helps you 30%, and the 70% is for you to help yourself. If you can bring forth the Gohonzon, then you bring forth your life force, and it is your life force that can help you cure your disease. It is totally unreasonable to think that you will be able to cure a disease that even the great hospitals or doctors cannot cure without your devoting your life 100% to the Gohonzon. The Buddha has no obligation to provide healing. Think carefully, though, how much effort you have put into and how much contributions you have made towards Gohonzon Rufu, and encourage other members. Well, the world is round. What goes around comes around. If you exert your best effort to help others, you will bring forth your best effort to help yourselves. And you will also come across best effort from everywhere to help yourself too. If you can turn the page and manage to truly devote yourself to Gohonzon Rufu at the risk of your own life, then certainly you will be cured of your illness. Now, having said that, it doesn't mean that you have to kill yourself. But a lot of people, despite the fact they are busy and they are not well, they will still go out and encourage other people. This is the attitude we have to adopt. As I said many times, a long time ago, I was bleeding, and then a friend came to see me, and the daughter was in despair, so I just forgot about my own bleeding, and I encouraged her to chant, and the next day, my bleeding stopped. This is how this mystic law works. I'm sharing with you below a wonderful and touching lecture by Jenny Chen, telling us how she chants to achieve her goals. She says, "Chant Daimoku that shakes the universe." Let me start. I'm quoting Jenny Chen's experience. It's her writing. She says, "Every time I open my altar to chant in front of the Gohonzon, in my mind I make sure that I always open up my Buddhahood. My mind's eyes see that the door is being opened for me to enter into the world of Buddha. By consciously taking such an attitude, I put myself right in the position of being able to communicate freely with Gohonzon. My life fuses with Gohonzon, and my life condition begins to correspond with Nichiren Daishonen's." President Ikeda likens the practice of Gongyo each day to a spiritual workout. He says, "Gongyo and Daimoku are a ceremony in which our lives connect with the universe. During Gongyo, through our faith in the Gohonzon, we vigorously infuse our own individual existence with the life force of the entire universe. We are part of the universe. If we do this regularly each morning and evening, our life force is strengthened. In addition to opening ritual, I put his guidance, sensei's guidance, that is, into action during my chanting. My mind constantly works on expanding my life to permeate the entire universe and to encompass it as well. It feels abstract, but vivid. Now, with all the preparation, I am in the highest life condition, reaching the world of Buddhahood. If you exert 100 million tons of effort in a single moment of life, Buddhahood will appear within you at each moment." Nam-myoho Renge Kyo means diligent practice. Along with my earnest chanting, I keep on receiving its immeasurable power and benefits to nourish and adorn my life. When my mind works out this way, I simply don't want to stop chanting. It is reasonable, therefore, that through my sincere Daimoku, I could summon forth all the protection, wisdom, and strength while working toward my goals. Besides, hadn't all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas vowed to protect and help the Bodhisattvas of the earth like myself? Well, in the Lotus Sutra, there's a chapter which says that the Bodhisattvas and all the deities vowed 5 times, saying that whoever practices or recites the Lotus Sutra, they give the first priority to go and protect them. It is the Lotus Sutra. Thinking of this, I cannot stop my ultimate optimism and joy about the actualization of my practice, of my prayer. Thus, the increasing intensity and profoundness of my Daimoku just keep on accelerating. President Ikeda says that the air around us is filled with radio waves of various frequencies. While these are invisible, just like a television set can collect them and turn them into visible images. Knowing this, I will send my prayer and my whole being, together with my daimoku, to penetrate the entire universe, throughout the three existences into all beings. I make my daimoku rain shower the entire universe as the trillions of my body cells, as well as the trillions of my body cells. I inject my single-minded resolve and all my positive energy, commanding daimoku to work diligently toward my goals without a moment's rest. Now, this is the kind of attitude we should adopt when we chant to achieve a goal. I repeat, I inject my single-minded resolve and all my positive energy, commanding daimoku to work diligently towards my goals without a moment's rest. We don't doubt when we chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. We want Nam-myoho Renge Kyo to help us work towards our goal. And there is no doubt about it. Please do not doubt. Well, she says, there is no doubt that my daimoku could reach and travel everywhere. In this case, how can it miss the targets I set forth? I try to chant with penetrating determination, as sharp as a mighty sword, with the force like the roar of the lion, hoping to shake, move, and touch the universe. Without having encountered a real devastating problem, it is never easy for me to chant with extreme urgency of a life and death situation. I realize that only through such a sense of extreme urgency can I experience the kind of profound daimoku that moves heaven and earth. Again, as I said, when I was in Alaska, my car started to spin and skid, and out of urgency for life, I yelled daimoku 3 times, and after the 3rd time, my car just stopped and my back wheels just hanging off the road on the cliff, and it stopped, and I did not fall. So the 3rd daimoku stopped my car. Let me go on. Teachings and guidance of eternal value are bountiful in the practice of faith. To make up for, I'm not very good at English, and to make up for this weak point, no matter how little I come across, I focus on personifying the black ink on the white paper. I give it a life through studying, understanding, absorbing, and applying to obtain results. Chanting is always the perfect tool and setting for me to accomplish such a wonder. I've come across quite a few members who told me that they do not know how to do the gongyo because they are illiterate, they are not very well educated. So I just said, if there is a will, there's a way. You're just trying to make an excuse for yourself not to study or not to do it. And it is not knowing how to read and write is not an excuse. If you try, you will be able to do it. You will find a way to do it. Nichiren Daishonin said, a mind now clouded by the illusions of the darkness of life is like a tarnished mirror, but when polished, it is sure to become like a clear mirror. Arouse deep faith and diligently polish your mirror day and night. How should we do it? Only by chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo day and night. Based on this particular teaching, I look at my life as a tarnished mirror. My mind, heart, and my mouth continuously produce the ultimate detergent. That is the daimoku. We clean our life, clean our mind, clean of all the impurities with daimoku. Let me go on. I would hold the soft cloth, polishing the mirror untiringly along with each and every Nam-myoho Renge Kyo I chant. Eventually, the mirror becomes so crystal clear that I can perceive from it the real aspect of all phenomena. Because chanting purifies our senses, we can see better, we can hear better, and we can even read between the lines. We just know everything because the wisdom comes forth. My life also turns out to be sparkling clean as the result of changing poison into medicine. The workout of the process doesn't take long, but the reward is amazing. According to the simultaneity of cause and effect, the moment I play the image and act it out in my mind, the effect already exists. Hence, the wisdom always look for the underlying cause to best resolve any situation, like the GPS, to give us directions in my life. As I said before, the cause of the problem always lies within ourselves. If you do not know the cause of the problem, you cannot solve it. But if you chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo and the wisdom comes forth, you know why the problem comes, and you have the wisdom to know how to solve it. And if you bring the best from yourself, you attract the best to you, and you will get help from all the Shoten Senjins around you. Let me go on. Moreover, I'm so relieved and relaxed to enjoy the feeling of having an untainted and pure life. No guilt, no sorrow, no shame nor filth, no matter how terrible and ugly it has seemed before. I have come across a member lately. Now this is me talking now. She obviously had not been a very good mother. All right, she just didn't take care of the children, and she was out enjoying her life. And then, of course, her children is not doing very well at the moment, and she keeps on blaming herself. So she's being fooled by the guilt in her life, and instead of going forward, she's always blaming herself, saying that I'm no good, well, I made such a mistake. And at the end, I asked her to throw away all the garbage. The past is past. You have made a mistake. But roll up your sleeves and look ahead. There are lots of things you can do to correct your mistakes. Don't just stay in the past. It's no use. It's not going to help you. I have made a lot of mistakes in my past life, like with my 2 children. But as soon as I know why I make these mistakes and how I make these mistakes, I took active action to correct my mistakes. And now the problem is solved. So please, do not let the past hinder you from going forward. It's no use. Throw away this garbage. Let me go on. In terms of chanting Daimoku, I'm rather scrupulous. Since my plan is to invest a big chunk of my life exercising it, I had better make sure I'm on the right track. In the beginning of my practice, chanting for 15 minutes felt like forever. Later on, due to the need to fulfill my impossible goal, I began to chant 4 to 5 hours. Gradually, I averaged to 2 hours daily, 1/12 of a day. As a junior member in the Buddhist practice, if I wish not to fall too much behind, I have to have a correct jump start to derive solid results without delay. Therefore, besides attending SGI discussion meetings, studying the SGI publications, and seeking help from seniors in faith, I heavily depend on pure faith to lead my way. The documented teachings are one of my guideposts. Accordingly, I chant with strong determination, patience, persistence, and optimism. It was natural that chanting came first when I really wished to overcome a challenge. To this day, chanting is always my first priority, no matter what. I've also learned from the Gospel what and how to chant. I chant with sincere apology, appreciation, and joy. I always chant to praise the Lotus Sutra a lot. It's important that we apologize to the Gohonzon for all the wrongdoings in the past. Because if you apologize, which means that you know you have done something wrong, and then you are determined to correct your mistakes. And it's also important to appreciate. If you appreciate life, life will be better. And if you have joy in your life, you will bring joy in other people too. So all these things are very important. Apology, appreciation, and joy. Let me go on. Whenever I read the Gospel, these teachings just jump into my eyes to empower the way how I practice. Once I catch them, I infuse them in my life. Just like you crave food when hungry, seek water when thirsty, so should you put your faith in the Lotus Sutra. This is what Nichiren Daishonin said. The more one praises the blessings of the Lotus Sutra, the more one's own blessings will increase. Now, in the Lotus Sutra, I think Shakyamuni Buddha says that in the future, anyone who recites the Lotus Sutra, who writes the Lotus Sutra, or being touched by one word in the Lotus Sutra, this person will become a Buddha. As regards SGI's teaching to do Kosen Rufu, when we go out to encourage other people, we say how wonderful and how powerful Nam-myoho Renge Kyo and the Lotus Sutra is. This is, in a way, we are praising the Lotus Sutra. And the more we praise the Lotus Sutra, the more benefit will come to you. Okay, our next topic is, I chanted about a very specific goal, and it didn't happen. So, where is my benefit? So the answer is, progress in your Buddhist practice leads to changes within you. This must happen, inevitably, because the art of chanting itself and the alterations you make in your routine and mental outlook to do this are themselves significant changes to you. These changes are always marked by parallel changes in your environment. If you change, your environment will change. And because the environment mirrors your inner life and its cause and effect, effecting noticeable changes in our surroundings based on those taking place within ourselves. However, it's not as simple an instance of cause and effect as it say. So there frequently is a time lag between them. It is only natural to become impatient. But you must be confident that if there are changes taking within yourself, external changes are inevitable. This is in accord with the principle of the oneness of person and environment. Some benefits are instant, some take time, but the intrinsic benefits of chanting are immediate, if often unseen. According to the principle of simultaneity of cause and effect, when you make the right course, that is, chanting to the Gohonzon, the effect is assured. It's like planting a seed. Once you plant a seed, and if you do water and fertilize, the seed will grow. Or to use an example, it is like writing a check. It may be a while before you can cash it because you have to go to a bank and the bank will have to check all the details and the signature. But eventually, the cash will come. The minute you write a check, the cash will not appear in you immediately. But then you are sure that the money will come. The important thing is that you have undertaken a process by which you can change your life. Therein lies the first benefit. It is a major one, particularly in today's world, where the individual often feels that circumstances are beyond their control. The power of Buddhist practice becomes increasingly apparent. The most valuable change is a measure of control over our destiny. We can create our destiny. The extent to which we can direct our lives, share our fate, is to a large extent the measurement of our enjoyment in life. We are not stuck. We can create a life that we want without our efforts and taking the right steps in the right directions, right actions in life. When you are chanting for your goals, your attitude becomes transformed. You are fixed on the future, on the attainment of your goals, and you are achieving a kind of one-pointedness of mind. You face problems squarely, rather than retreat from them. You advance with a spirit of hopeful challenge, rather than resignation. When you are able to face up and deal with obstacles, even if they cannot be surmounted or solved immediately, your capability is increased. That is, if you are not afraid of your obstacles, if you have enough faith in yourself, in your own power, and the power of the Daimoku, then you will summon up the courage and the life force and the wisdom to solve your problems. But if you retreat from them, your problems will not go away. This is what this Buddhist practice helps a lot of people to have faith that there is a solution in every one of our problems. Perhaps the exact benefit you are seeking, some conspicuous benefit in your environment, is sometimes apparent, but the most significant benefits are the inconspicuous benefits. When you undertake to practice Buddhism, you stop looking for salvation outside of yourself. There is no one up there to help you. It is you who can help yourself. By chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, you will realize that we do have the power to help ourselves. Well, in that spirit, you may begin to ask yourself, to what extent is my own negative karma preventing me from gaining the goal or benefit? Nichiren wrote that you can never hope to attain enlightenment unless you perceive the nature of your own life. The benefits that are vague, most difficult to grasp, are precisely the signposts pointing back to your own negative karma. It is your own karma or your own shortcoming that prevents you from achieving your goal or solving your problems. The fact that you cannot get or achieve certain things indicates the areas of your life that you have to work on. Do not give up easily. Push on. Chant sincerely to overcome these negative points in your own life, in your own karma. Then the benefit in time will surely follow. When you chant for a goal and hope to achieve it quickly, but obstacles or one sort of another usually appear, This is when we engage in a spiritual struggle, one which we wage in our hearts and minds. Now, let me share with you a very touching experience by a USA member, Jenny Cook. She talks about using her Buddhist practice to rebuild a life of appreciation, courage, and hope, following a life-threatening accident. Let me start. Quote, "When my mom left Okinawa, Japan, to marry my dad, an American Navy seaman, her sister asked her to chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo whenever she was struggling. As a child, I felt embarrassed about our Buddhist practice and wanted to be normal, like my friends. At the same time, I saw how happy the practice made my mom. It wasn't until I was in a life-threatening car accident that I fully embraced Buddhism. It was the day after Thanksgiving. I had just turned 18. I was in a car with my dad and brother when a car cut us off. My body flew into the back of the headrest, crushing my face and breaking my mandible before I slammed into the side door. I was rushed to the hospital, and although my heart had stopped for 2 minutes, I survived. Laying in the sick bed, I looked up at the round, mirrored light above me and saw the reality of my face. Ironically, it was exactly how I had felt on the inside for many years, unappreciative, cold, and lifeless. At that very moment, I smiled genuinely for the first time. I was so grateful to be alive. I came out of the haze, immobile and unable to speak, with no movement in my face. While I was laying there in bed, my mom chanted beside me. For the first time, I heard Nam-myoho Renge Kyo so clearly and powerfully. I knew she was pouring her whole life into chanting for me. I didn't want to let my parents down, and I didn't want to take anything for granted anymore. I determined to become a daughter who could fulfill her mission in life. Despite the immense pain, I pushed myself to chant, syllable by syllable. After a little over a month of fighting in this way, I was finally able to say Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. My dad, who had fallen into a depression from the regret of putting his daughter in harm's way, started practicing also. He began to take responsibility for his life and stopped drinking. Looking back, this accident awakened my appreciation for life and brought my family closer. It's turning poison into medicine. My first year in school was a struggle with my doubts and self-worth, but I was reminded by my mom that the purpose of education was to help students bring forth their own potential. In my final year of school, I worked at an institute that supports students with behavioral impairments, and it changed my life. A young girl whom I had wholeheartedly supported passed away from a brain aneurysm. I was overcome by immense sadness, but vowed in my heart to never stop working for children and to become an educator who would never give up on her students. I determined to treat each student as a Buddha. When I look back in this way, I owe a tremendous depth of gratitude to Ikeda Sensei and for the car who hit us, for helping me awaken to my life's mission and teaching me the essence of education. Currently, I'm a learning behavior specialist who works with children with trauma-related drug abuse and domestic violence. I help them connect their own experiences in life to the value of education. For example, one of my students struggles with depression and often shuts down during class. Rather than judging him, I looked into his interests. When I found out he liked maps, I incorporated them into our lesson. He became more engaged and began to open up. He shared that he wanted to leave home and live somewhere else. From there, we engaged in dialogue, which resulted in him realizing the importance of where we are now. My utmost priority is to build relationships with my students, accept whatever behavior they display, and in turn embrace them with care. Now, this is the attitude. It's me talking now. This is our attitude towards other members and other people. We must not judge them and embrace them with care. Let me go on. I believe it is my responsibility, and this is me also, I'm talking, I believe it's my responsibility to encourage them and to provide education they see as valuable. Now, to me, this education is the Buddhist philosophy, is Nichiren Buddhism. Let me go on. I feel there is no separation between my Buddhist practice, what I've learned through taking part in Soka Gakkai activities, as my role as an educator. Quite a lot of people say, I'm busy at work. I am busy at home. I have no time to chant, no time to practice. But in fact, Buddhism is in daily life. Whatever we do, we are practicing Buddhism already. For instance, if you do your job, you do it well, you shine, and other people can see that you are an example to follow, then you're practicing Buddhism also. Just do well in everything you do every day. You are practicing Buddhism. It's part of the Buddhist practice also. Let me go on. She says, the more I develop my Buddhist practice, the stronger I become, and the more able I am to fully embrace my students and to give them hope. In my years of teaching, I've lost students to gun violence, drug abuse, and suicide. This reality has brought out deep sadness and doubts about the impact I can have. Every day is a battle. Sometimes my students will curse at me, or tell me that I have no idea what they have gone through. But I know that to help my students grow and develop, I need to have a strong and expansive heart, overflowing with life force. I think, now it's me talking now, I've come across a member who spends her whole life on Kosen Rufu encouraging other people, but she told me she has been cursed and abused by other people also. But she didn't give up. She just kept on and on and on. She's got a big heart. She didn't mind what other people say about her, but she would just continue to practice and encourage other people to practice. And I do admire her spirit. Let me go on. The writer says, the only way to do so is to win in the morning with abundant prayer. The more I develop my Buddhist practice, the stronger I become and the more able I am to fully embrace my students and give them hope. See, in the morning, when we do our Gongyo, it's me talking now, we use our Daimoku to help us throughout the day, to be able to do well in whatever we're doing, to overcome all the problems we have, and to be blessed and protected. This is what our morning Gongyo will help us. And in the evening, when we do our evening Gongyo, we will say thanks to the Gohonzon, to all the Shoten Senjin, for all the blessings we have during the day, to show our appreciation, and also to reflect on whatever improvement we need in order to go on and have a better career and a better life. So this is why morning and evening Gongyos are so important. Let me go on. My students teach me the power of our lives and the importance of persevering in our efforts. As someone who was fortunate enough to receive wonderful opportunities, I have an obligation to give back to my community. Now again, it's me talking now. We are very fortunate to be able to come across Nichiren Buddhism. So this is why we need to share this Buddhism with other people to help them also. We have the obligation to help other people, to give back our blessing to other people. Now, the writer says, that's why my dream is to build a special education school in America based on the principles of soccer education. I want to transform the apathy in our society by empowering the youth to live contributive lives. So this is the attitude we practitioners of Nichiren Buddhism should have. We should be able to empower everybody who come across our path to live a fulfilling and contributing life, and to contribute in Gohonzon roof. So this is all I have to share today. Thank you very much for joining my meeting. So I will leave the rest of the time to everybody who has joined us. Thank you.